Hi, my name is Sandra from Crafts of Ireland, and we're going to do another short video with you on Lomra, which is locker hooking with wool. It's an old Irish craft. It was started in the early 1900s, and it's similar to locker hooking except that it's wool roving that's used in natural colours. So come join us and we'll do another short workshop on it. So these are some of the pieces of Lomra or locker hooking that we've been working on. So it can be used for all sorts of things. We have a cushion, we have wall hangings, we have, very appropriate for this time of year, a Christmas stocking, and this is another cushion that I'm working on. So you can see that the Lumra is worked into a rug canvas. This is a lighter than your standard rug canvas, which works really well because it takes up less yarn and it's more suitable for smaller household objects. So we're using, instead of using fabric, which would have been traditional in locker hooking, we use wool roving, and that wool roving is in a number of natural colours. So that would be the colour scheme that I would have used for this unfinished cushion, which we have only a few squares left to do. So the first thing, as we explained before, is the roving. So the roving, we card it into bats, and these are all natural coloured wools. This one is from a blue Texel sheep. These two are from shortless cross sheep, so they're a black sheep, but they've been crossed. So sometimes you get a beautiful variety of colours in the fleeces, and this one has a particularly long staple, so it's a very nice fibre. And the white we use is from our own sheep, which is a rare native breed of sheep called the Roscommon. So you can see what I've been doing with this. You draw your roving out to the finger thickness. So it's easy with a longer staple fibre because it's almost like using a diz, which is what you use if you're making roving off a carding, but not everybody has one. So you can just catch the fibre in your hand and just pull it between your thumb and first finger. So you're going to gently tug on the fibres. You can see the length of the staple in this because you can pull it quite a distance, and then you just go back and take another piece and pull and continue to do that. And often before I start making and working on the piece, I'll sit down and I'll spend the time drawing out the fibre into pencil roving like this, and I'll have it all ready then to start and do my project. So I'll draw it out like that and continue to do that. So when you gently pull it, with wool fibres, you want the fibres to slide past each other. So if you can see the way fibres are gently pulling out, so you want them to slide, so you don't hold them tightly. You just allow them slide. If there's a piece in it that's not perfect, you can just give it a little flick. So if I hold that tight, I can't get the fibres to slide. But if I hold it loose and pull gently, those fibres are going to slide no problem past each other. And it's just to get a consistency in the thickness of the fibres, what you actually want. So you can see the way you can, it's actually quite meditative to do. You can just keep drawing out those fibres to that thickness until you work your way through the amount of yarn. And we will have some kits online, and each kit has the required amount of fibre. So you could actually do this first, is draw out these, and then what I will do to keep them nice and neat is roll it up into a nice loose nest or ball and take it off, and then that piece is ready to work with. So if I'm going to do some colour work, if I want to do some writing, I'll actually pick a darker colour, might be easier to see. I'll pick this darker one. I'll go for the darkest one, might be easier to see. So I'm just going to take some quickly of this. And again, this is a long fibre. So you can see how far it pulls. So they do vary depending on the breed of sheep and what your fibre length is called your staple length. And depending on the breed of sheep that the wool comes on, they will determine the length of that staple or of the length of the fibres. So you're just drawing out, and the longer the fibre, the further you can actually draw it. Just to show you the difference, this is shorter staple. Blue Texel have quite short wool, so with that I am only pulling probably half the distance. So you just want to practice a little bit first. So that's a much shorter draw on that fibre to get the same result. If it goes too thin, you can always add a little bit in alongside it to plump it out. And if it's too fat when you get to using it, you can always give it an extra little tug and stretch it out a bit further. But you can see the difference where on the shorter fibre, the amount that I'm drawing it is significantly shorter. So I'm repeating that movement more often. So you're just catching the amount of fibre and it will come consistently. So that is the shorter fibre. So depending on the breed of sheep that the colour of wool comes from will determine what colour or what length you're going to draw it out. So we'll just take another piece of this one and then I'm going to show you how we do some colour work with it, how we do colour changes in our patterns. So all that will do is for now for our video. And we park that one side. So you can see now there's the different colours and we have them drawn out. I have my white and I have the black and I have a piece of canvas. So when I draft up a pattern, I would have it done in a grid format similar to cross stitch patterns. So you can see from the pattern where the colours are supposed to be. I've done this one in a few different colours because there's different shades. The roof is obviously going to be darker, the windows and doors are darker, and then the outline and home is in a lighter shade. Whereas our reindeer is just all in the one colour against the white background. So this simple, almost like a cross stitch pattern, a grid pattern, is perfectly suitable to make this piece. So if we're at the stage of a pattern where we want to do some colour change, we're going to just work across. So I'm going to do just a section here across the top where we start the top of the writing on this. And I suppose because I'm right-handed, I have a tendency to work from right to left. So I'm just going to thread. I know we left thread on the table. Rachel did. There we go. So I'm going to thread my Lomra hook or my locker hooking needle, like so. And that's my tail of thread that's going to go and lock my stitches. Why it's called locker hooking is because the thread is the lock that holds the stitches in the canvas above. So it secures them. And this is just to show how we would do a colour change. So I am going to come in on this pattern. I'm going to pretend that I'm starting here at the top of the writing. So we're going to start here and we're going to count in 6 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you're new to this, what we're doing is taking the hook, going down through the canvas, catching the fibre at the back, picking it up as a loop, and that's number 6. And it's as simple as that. A little bit of stray fibre there. Then you pull the locking thread through, and that's what holds your work in place. And then we have to change, and we're going to do 3 in the black. So because these ones are short runs between the colour changes, I'm going to carry my colours across the piece as I work. So I'm going to start now with my black, and I'm going to do 3. 2, and what I've done is I've folded the black so that it is secured, and I'm going to do 3, which is the top of the E. Then I'm going to make sure that thread, I will just pull it out the end, and then I'm going to do 1 in white. So I can take my white either above or below, and generally I go for above, just put in my 1 stitch. Then I'm coming back with 1 black, then I'm coming in with 3 white, and as you can see, I'm taking the yarn over the top each time and wrapping it around the one that I'm carrying. And 3 is quite a short carry, so 1, 2, and 3. Then I'm coming in with 1 more black, and then I am back to 1 white. So I'm just following across. So this one is white. So you can see the way that the colours that I'm just carrying them one after the other, because it's the simplest way to do this. Just because there's a small piece of canvas, my thread is getting caught on the corner. There we go. And pull securely through. So you can see where we're working across. Again, we have the top of the M done. We're on this white is that square there, And again, then you would work across on your 4 black. And when you get to the other side, then obviously you're going to drop your black. When you get to the last end of the last letter, finish out with your white and come back with your white then. So I have 4 black, which is the top of O, back in with my white. And you may have to unwind them if they get, because you're constantly bringing them over each other. You can unwind them and just keep them from breaking. So I've got my 4 done. I'm coming back in with 1. Then I have 1 black. Pick it up and do it. Then I have 2 white. So pick them up and take them through. And then I have 1 black. And that's the outside of the H on home. And then it's white to the end. I'm just going to unwind these at the back. If it's rolled up in a nice neat ball, it is actually easier to keep them separate. And then I have my 6 white out to the end, and that will be the end of that row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a little bit of black fibre has come, but we can just pick them out at the end. Pull my needle through, and that's my first row, and that's what it looks like. It's still very tidy on the back. And then you're going to turn your work, and you are going to work then, and maybe easier to turn your pattern so that you can see where you're going, and you're going to work back across and follow your stitches. You can just lift them black ones out and tidy that up. So I'm going to, if I wanted to work back then, my black is at the last of the letter H. My white is here in my hand, and my next one would come in here, and you're going to work your way back across, doing those 6 stitches, and then start your lettering again. So that is a quick video on how to do colour change for locker hooking, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. And we look forward to bringing you some more videos on this beautiful old Irish wool craft, and we hope that you enjoy trying out doing crafts with wool. It's such a beautiful material to work with and totally underrated. So enjoy some wool craft, and we look forward to bringing you another video.